I'm going to call the meeting of April 2nd, 2015 to order. Then we take a roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor Garofalo.
Here.
Council members Evans.
Here.
Long.
Here.
Shepherd.
Here.
And Mayor Siciliano.
Here, please rise for pledge of allegiance and remain standing for a moment of silent prayer. Tonight's silent prayer, we want you to remember longtime resident and Dave DeRouge, please, while he's recovered from an accident. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. The notice requirement of the Open Public Meeting Act for this meeting has been satisfied. A copy of the annual notice was sent to the Asbury Park Press and the Coaster, posted in Town Hall, and filed in the office of the Municipal Clerk on December 30, 2014. There are two emergency exits on the wall, one to my right that will take you out to the front of the building, and another one to my left will take you out to the rear parking lot. All cell phones must be turned off. If you need to make a call, kindly go outside and make a call. Before we get started tonight, I'm going to go down and ask for council reports. Bill, do you have anything for us?
A couple of things. On April 17th, we will go out to bid reverse auction along with almost 200 other municipalities for our electrical service. This will make Mrs. Hudson very happy. We, in our bid specs, 20% of the electricity has to come from sustainable sources, which is 5% greater than the state mandate, and we will get that under market rate. So not only will we be getting some nice savings again from the SEM, but we will also exceed our requirements for sustainable energy. Also on Saturday with the mayor, we dedicated with the Environmental Commission, we dedicated a hiking trail, which they received the grant to set up. It's out behind the intermediate school. It's going to work in conjunction with the intermediate school to be used along with their science programs. It'll be left in a very rustic state. It meanders through where all of those detention ponds are that were built for Route 18. It's really a quite incredible tract of land. It'll be open to the public when school is not in session, and there'll be access to it from Leisure Village West, I believe, and it's Peters. Is it Peters?
You've been in Manchester too long. Leisure Village there.
I'm Rolling Meadows. I'm sorry. That would be quite a hike.
Heck of a trail there.
It'd be a little trail. I had 4 leisures, you have to.
I understand.
But it's pretty neat back there. And also I see scouts in the audience. The Environmental Commission might entertain a Eagle Scout project back there to help mark trails and do some cleaning out. So
Perfect.
think about it.
Yep, great, thank you. Donna, you have anything for us?
Yes, springtime is here and it's cleanup time. I'd like to remind everybody that not to mix your brush and your leaves. Make 2 separate piles and try to keep them as far away from your storm water drains as possible. And if you have little amounts of brush, please put it into your garbage cans. Small amounts of brush can be mixed with your regular trash and garbage. And it makes it much easier, then you don't have to have a truck go down and pick up small amounts. And it's hard to pick up small amounts also. Remember that we also have the recycling drop-off on Sunset Avenue. It's open Monday through Friday from 7:30 to 2:30, and Saturdays and Sundays from 8 to 12. Televisions will not be picked up. We're having a lot of problems with television sets being left out and not being dropped off at the drop-off center, recycling center. You have to take them yourselves to the recycling center. Other electronic wastes, which include computers, stereos, microwaves, ovens, telephones, all types of e-waste, they also have to be dropped off up there. They will not be picked up. And also at the recycling center, we have bins that you can put excessive boxes and paper bags and small appliances, metal, barbecue grills, pipes, bikes, and tire rims. Grass cannot go out onto the street or the curb. When you cut your grass, if you can't keep it in your grass or laying on your grass, You can take it up to be recycled. But again, they recommend, the environmental and the shade tree commissions recommend that you leave it in your grass. And disposal, unfortunately, disposal of non-rechargeable AA, AAA, C, D, and 9-volt batteries. Monmouth County does not recycle these. We don't have anybody that does recycle them. They do have to go into your regular household garbage. Bulk trash items, which consist of furniture, tables, chairs, sofas, mattresses, scrap lumber, and tires. These items are picked up once a month on a Monday according to your week for garbage and recycling. And metal will be picked up on the 5th Monday of every month. Well, we have 5 Mondays, which is June, August, and November. And you can call for a pickup to either Nancy or Mary, and they'd be more than happy to put your name on the list to have that metal picked up. And the phone number is 732-531-5001. And they will be more than happy to help you do whatever you need to do if you have any questions about recycling or garbage pickup.
Great, thank you, Donna.
You're welcome.
Rich, report, please.
Yes, Mayor, I do have a short report. As you and others here are aware, Ocean honored Councilman Mike Evans and School Board President Denise Parlamas last month. Denise and I are on the Board of Trustees for Ocean's Community Hope Fund. This is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. Last year, the organization distributed 149 Thanksgiving baskets to families in need. The Community Hope Fund also orchestrated the Adopt a Family program, so needy families in the community could have happier holidays. And the Community Hope Fund, which is part of Ocean's Human Services Department, supports the TOGS program at the high school. TOGS, of course, stands for Township of Ocean Growing Strong, which is a youth program that promotes positive attributes in young adults. Now, the drum roll, please. This month, Community Hope Fund has its annual fund drive. Residents should be on the lookout for a donation letter coming to them soon. Denise and I hope that Ocean citizens will make donations to the fund so that its work can continue to help residents throughout the township.
Great, thank you. Mike, you have something, please?
Yes, Mayor, I'm happy to announce that the final phase of the Sunset Avenue road construction, sidewalks and all that's going to start on April 6th. That's a Monday. It's going to be from Logan Road to Highway 35. So it's going to take about 3 to 4 weeks. We're going to start with the sidewalks and the curbing and then do the paving. The paving will be done at night. Although the road will be open, we kind of recommend people take alternate routes due to construction and delays to that area.
Great, thank you, Mike, appreciate that. Andrew, you have anything for us?
Yes, I just would state on that same theme, Monmouth Road will be milled and paved by Monmouth County this month. The milling will take place on April 16th and 17th. That'll be done at night, and then they'll come in and pave it on April 22nd, again at night, and then on April 24th, they'll do the striping. So in a short period of time, they'll get in there and get it milled, paved, and striped, and ready for summer.
Great, thank you.
Yep.
Marty, our illustrious attorney, anything for us?
Not today.
Maybe later.
Maybe.
Before we get going here, I want to just recognize the scouts. Thank you guys for coming. Pay attention, this is going to be part of your badges you're going to get today, right? Hopefully. Also, I want to announce that Friday we had our first breakfast meeting for our own Ocean program. That's the property tax rebate program, whereas citizens will receive their rebate card in the mail, use it at participating merchants in Ocean. You'll receive a discount from them that goes right to your property tax. And meanwhile, they're going to see a little more business, a little more foot traffic. So we had a breakfast meeting here. It was well received, very enthusiastic by the merchants. And we have at least 10 sign up right on the spot. And a very eclectic mix, you know, from eateries, liquor store to auto repair service, eye doctors, etc. So I think the program is going to really grow and grow and grow. I've been getting calls daily on it and making sales calls myself in between my busy schedule, going out and selling the program. So at the end of the month, I'll make a list and I'll post them on our website of who's signed up so far, et cetera, so you can see the benefits of this. But the program's gonna be outstanding. It's like I said, it's a win-win, good for you, good for the merchant, everybody's gonna benefit from this. Excuse me. Now, tonight we have a very special award that we're gonna present. We're gonna embarrass somebody, so we're gonna come down there, and then we're gonna call up Jesse Joseph in a moment.
That would be you. Come on up here, Jesse. Jesse, if anybody doesn't know, this is our deputy clerk, Jesse. Very special person. You're gonna find out how special in a moment. Come on. We love it. Kiddo. Relax, nothing, you're great. We have a little proclamation for you. Now, Jesse, she does a lot here. She started in 1995, right? Okay.
No,
90, I'm sorry, you became the deputy clerk in it. But Jessie, in her spare time, she's a marathon runner. She runs long distance, right? And so recently, I guess your last marathon, you went out and did it for a really special cause. And we all took note, we paid attention to that. And Jessie was able to raise a considerable amount of money along with your running partners. Who'd you have with you?
My son, my daughter, and my daughter-in-law.
Oh, that was very nice. So let me read it to you, and guys will get the gist of this. Gotta put the glasses on because many insist on that 11 font. So Jessie M. Joseph and her fundraising efforts on behalf of the American Liver Foundation. Whereas Jessie M. Joseph began her employment for the Township of Ocean as a public records clerk on July 31st, 1990, and remained in that position until she was promoted to the position of deputy clerk in August 1 of 95. Whereas throughout her employment with the Township of Ocean, Jessie has demonstrated that she lives by the motto, this is the old Rotary motto, service above self, as she continually places the needs of those residents and businesses that she helps above all else, while always treating them with the kindness, respect that they deserve. And whereas Jessie's volunteerism knows no boundaries as she continues to volunteer her time to improve the lives of those less fortunate, including assisting those residents of Monmouth County who suffered hardships as a result of Superstorm Sandy, and her continued assistance at the Soul Kitchen Food Bank. And whereas, November 2014, Jessie, along with her son Stephen and her daughter Lauren and her daughter-in-law Maggie, entered and ran into the New York City Marathon, which just running half a marathon is one thing, but a full one is mind-boggling, representing the American Liver Foundation in honor of her mom, Charlotte, and through their efforts, they raised an unprecedented $13,300 for the American Liver Foundation. Very special. Now therefore be it proclaimed that the Township of Ocean hereby commends Jessie M. Joseph for her continued efforts to improve the quality of life for those less fortunate and for the efforts on behalf of the American Liver Foundation. And furthermore, be it proclaimed that we extend our sincere appreciation to Jessie M. Joseph for her exemplary efforts as a deputy clerk of the Township of Ocean. We love you, Jessie. Very nice.
Right.
Thank you.
Don't cry.
Rich promises he won't speak.
Okay, so she's a little verklempt. She's not going to say anything because Jessie's a little shy right now, but we appreciate all you've done, Jessie. You're great.
Thank
We
you.
love having you here. Okay, you're an asset to this building, to this community, to everybody around. So thank you for that. Thank you for all
I'm
you've
so
done.
You got her under false pretenses?
I did.
You lied? Not me, I never lie. I'm full of fish.
May not tell the truth, but he has to lie. Exactly.
Easy 007.
Okay, back to our business at hand. So, the purpose of this public portion is to solely ask questions to understand resolutions that appear on this agenda and not an occasion for a public hearing on an ordinance. All questions not related to an item on this agenda should be asked during the public comments portion at the conclusion of the meeting. So tonight, we're going to, I need a motion. Well, we're going to open up to the public first. Anybody have anything based on what's on the agenda so far? Please come on up, state your name and address for the microphone. Seeing her here, nobody, then he's going to make sure the mic's on first before we offer you that.
We want to make sure we can hear Mr. Hudson.
We're famous for offering services that, well, aren't ready. There we go.
If you turn it on too early, the battery doesn't work.
There we go. We're-
Thanks for coming up, Mr. Hudson.
You know- you already know we need to do
Is this all right?
that?
What
All
skills
right,
you
I
have?
just want to make sure you're okay at that.
That's why you're the doctor. You think of it.
Someone has to do it.
Okay, so, again, seeing or hearing no one, we're gonna make a motion to, we have B1, authorizing the budget. Then you wanna read by title, please?
Nope, you don't have- you just have to make a motion in a second. to
Okay,
read the
so,
budget by title.
somebody please make a motion.
I make the motion.
So a second, please. Roll call, then?
Deputy Mayor Garofalo.
Yes.
Councilmembers Evans,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Shepherd,
Yes.
and Mayor Sisdano.
Yes. Okay. Now I have a motion to open the public hearing on the budget.
I make that motion.
Second?
Second?
Deputy Mayor Garofalo.
Yes.
Councilmembers Evans,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Shepherd,
Yes.
and Mayor Sisdano.
Yes. Anybody have anything on the budget? Please step up, say your name and address for the microphone. Sir? Right to the microphone, name and address, please, for the record.
Mr. Mayor, Council, I just have a question. It's actually...
Oh, name and address.
Oh, I'm sorry. Peter Ciano Jr., 2821 Asbury Avenue, Wayside, New Jersey. Been a member of, or have lived in Ocean Township since 1967. And this is a question to you, Mr. Mayor, and to Councilman Mr. Long. My father is not feeling well today. He wanted me to come, but he did stop by his house a few weeks ago. And he was just wanted me to come here. I'm trying to get more involved in the town as well, and to see where we are with the budget. I know you said a few things to him. You've also said a few things to myself and my neighbors, and we just want to see if that budget is still what you said it was going to be.
Good question. Thank you, Mr. Ciano. Yes, we actually introduced the budget at the last meeting, and just like as we said, it's a stable tax levy. So in other words, most homeowners, the average homeowner is going to realize probably a slight tax decrease this year. So there's no increase in the tax levy this year. And that's not just this year. We can see that going forward out for another year easily, maybe even one after that.
Well, that's why I came, because not only what you have said, what my father was asking about, because, you know, he tells me that his taxes are more than his mortgage when he first bought his house.
Yeah,
You know,
sure.
that's where we are, and, you know, he's retired, he's gonna be 82 next month. You know, I have a family, and these are the things that we kind of look at to see where our budgets are
Right.
and where we're gonna be. But it's a nice thing to see, the, you know, the mayor and the council coming together to at least keep it where it is, or maybe even a little less. And that's a big thing for us, and I just wanted to come out and A, to see if that was true, and B, since it is, I applaud you for your efforts.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Ciano. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, anybody else? Come on up, state your name and address for the record.
Yeah, Mr. Lefferson, 236 Cliffwood Road, Oakhurst. Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council. I just got one question. Listen, first of all, I want to say I think you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
But
Mrs.
you know, I'm a lifelong resident. I was born in the town, and where I currently live now, I've been in my house for 56 years, which I'm very proud of. But my one question is, I follow a lot of things in the town, is why did you tap into the sewage authority's reserve for $289,000, I believe? And the town has never done that before, and I'm just curious why. And I believe our budget is only up $258,000 over last year, right, Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
So I'm just curious why, even though the people at the sewage authority do a great job down there, the rate we pay is to me, compared to other towns, is very low. But that disturbs me very much, why you would tap into that, and I'd like an explanation for
Yeah,
that.
you know what, we mentioned it at the last meeting, and I'm going to defer to Deputy Mayor Garofalo, and I'm going to let him answer it for you again, Brian.
Brian, this is something we've looked at actually over the last 6 or 7 years. we have the authority to take 5% of the sewer surplus. Now, in the past, we haven't touched it because economic times are hard. The sewer authority was also receiving delinquencies in their fees, as we were receiving delinquencies in our taxes. So what we decided to do is take a long-range plan. I'm going to try to give you the abridged version of this. First thing we did over the years was, as vacancies started in the sewerage authority, we started putting very technical people on the board to help them with some of the technical problems. We put an accountant, we put a person who manages a sewer plant to try to get that, to be able to give us a real feel of what was going on there. Secondly, you have to remember that 3 of the largest ratepayers of the sewer authority are non-residents, okay? And the other thing you have to remember is now, in the last couple of years, we've allowed the sewer to piggyback on our tax sale so that all their delinquencies could also be collected in the form of liens. So what we did over the past 6 years was make sure that the sewer authority was very, very healthy. Now, we did not do this single-handedly. We did this through conferences with them. They have over a $4 million surplus, which is more than adequate to cover what they needed. So this year we decided this would be a good time to start this program. We brought over 5% of their surplus into our budget as a revenue. Now remember, their surplus was generated through efficiencies that we helped them with, shared services that we helped them with, and through rates collected by all of Ocean Township ratepayers and the 3 largest ratepayers, which are non-Ocean Township residents. So we brought that money into the township to benefit Ocean Township residents. Now, by being able to do that, we were able to continue our policy of being conservative with our anticipating our own revenues. Now, that's a policy, and the mayor can expand on that, that has proven to be very effective for us. It also is the framework which allows us to maintain stable taxes going forward for at least a couple of years. So it's not a plug, it's not a one-time fix, it's something that really occurred over 6 years. So what we're doing is we're giving township residents a benefit that was arrived through, again, efficiencies, shared services, and rates that came from non-township residents.
And that's the truncated version.
Well,
You want the long version?
well, okay, well, I get, like
Now, the mayor can expand on the importance of.
Well, here's what happened. By other towns recently, we looked in the paper, Brian Eaton is correct, that have over-anticipated revenues, such as Eatontown now is facing a $257 per household increase. And they said, okay, well, we over-anticipated our revenue. Tinton Falls, $50 to $60. What happened? We over-anticipated our revenue. Neptune, $1.3 million over their tax levy. And same refrain over and over. We over-anticipated our revenue. We don't do that. We're very conservative about it for those reasons. If we hit a storm, when we hit a crisis, we can weather that storm. We're able to, we're able to cope with that.
Well, I guess my point is, the sewage authority, I'll be truthful with you. I was born and raised on that
Sewage
property
authority?
where the sewer plant is. And I moved, my family moved here from 1960 into where I live now. So what I'm saying is, and I actually worked for the original engineering company that built that sewer plant,
Cool.
Charles J. Cupper Sr. and Jr. So I know a little bit about how a sewer plant, and actually I put my name in a couple of times again on the sewage authority, but that didn't happen. But I guess my question is, you never tapped into that. And my question is, like you said, Mr. Brenner, are you still charging the sewage authority $100,000 a year for their billing? $90,000?
Not just for their billing, but we have a shared service agreement with TOSA, yes.
How much is it?
I can't tell you offhand.
It's about $90,000,
Probably in that
right?
range, yes.
So you take that 289, you take 90,000, but like you say, but when people don't pay their sewer bill, you can't really do much. You can put a lien against their property.
Right.
You can't block their sewer
And those
because,
liens
it's
are not,
again,
they're not attractive to buyers because there's such a small amount of money. But now since Vinny's developed this online, all the sewer liens were sold.
Yep.
So, and that, again, made them stronger and it made them whole.
Yeah, because I know for a fact that the sewage authority down there years ago come under a lot of scrutiny, under corruption, et cetera, but now they see really, they're doing a great job down there, and they've invested their money, and they take their money, their surplus, and they do a great job down there.
They do.
Yeah, they're doing great. And we wouldn't hurt them at all, and this is not compromising their budget or their services, and they're able to cope with it, so. Like you said, we deferred it for several years to give everybody a chance to kind of catch their breath.
Because generally, if they have any big capital improvements down there, or even if they have a big problem in the town, where if they have to, they go out to bond for that, they bond
That's
them.
correct.
But I just can't believe that you're pinching the sewage authority with
No, not pension, it's
$489,000.
something that we've been entitled to a long time and haven't taken, so.
Yeah.
The pinch would be saying to pay us the last 10 years, but we haven't done that, Brian. I think we're being very reasonable about it, and like I said, that alone wouldn't balance our budget. I mean, we have other ways to balance it.
But I'm sure that helps along with other grants that Mr. Brennan, which doesn't come to my mind right now. You got another grant for $700 and some thousand. I forget what that was for.
The township?
Yeah. Well, I'll sit back down. When it comes to my mind, I'll bring it up to you, but I have some other questions. Okay, thank you.
Great, thank you. Anybody else? Come on up.
Barbara Hudson, Hard Drive. This is a little outside of the thing, but when you're talking, congratulations, no tax rate.
Thank you.
But that's municipal, right?
Yes.
So the gentleman we're talking about, we're gonna get a tax raise because it's school taxes.
Probably.
Yeah, and
Yes.
County
county
counties
taxes,
anticipate
and I just
the
think that
largest.
kind
Yeah,
of.
we're 22% of the budget, we can only really account for what we do and our fiscal
No, it's very good,
responsibilities.
but-
We're the collector of the entire budget, unfortunately, we have to collect all the money. Thank you. Anybody else? Mr. Hudson, budget item, please, come on up.
Yes, budget item. This has to do with Mr. Garofalo's reply to Brian Lefferson. You said that the three largest ratepayers at the sewer authority were non-township residents. Exactly, who are they?
They're outside communities.
Do you?
Well, but that's not, that doesn't have to do with that's not in the sewer authority has for many years serviced outside residents, so that's
Correct.
really no difference than it has been over the time.
That's correct.
He's just pointing it out.
Okay.
That
I don't think it was.
All right,
those
but-
outside residents also help create that surplus.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Hudson. Anybody else? Come on up, state your name and address for the record, please.
Hi, Sylvia, 1 Range Lane. I know Mr. Hudson's supposed to be a closer. I'm sorry.
It's just.
That's later, we're not even to that point. That's just a warm-up.
We're not there. We'll close, I promise.
Not to beat the sewer authority surplus issue.
You can't.
Um,
They have 4 million left.
I'm just
Go ahead.
Let's see. I had an opportunity to speak with the sewer authority, and it won't affect their budget this year, their operating budget. They had been anticipating, you guys had been speaking with them about it. But at the last meeting, you mentioned that you had plans on using that portion of the surplus going forward
Well,
each year.
we said we would review it. We have the option of doing it going forward.
I'm sorry, I understood it, that you said that you were going to.
Yeah, if I said that, I misspoke. I said we have the option of doing that, and we'll review it, doing it year to year. Depends on their situation down there, if they're coming up with anything.
Because currently, they haven't raised our sewer bill since 2010.
Mhm.
And while they will be able to maintain that number this year and
Yeah,
a couple of years,
everybody's budget's year to year.
They're not anticipating any increase for another 5 years, but if we do
Good.
keep taking money out of their surplus they will have a shortfall.
No, it's not something- we'll talk to them
Some of
about
their
that.
their capital projects will either have to be put off. Right now, they have an assessment fund that they started doing a couple of years ago. So they're able to self-fund certain things that they have going on. There's an emergency rehabilitation out in the pipeline out to the ocean. So instead of bonding for that, because it's a smaller project, and I'm sure you know all this, they're self-funding it, but eventually they won't be able to do that if they can't maintain their surplus. And it just seems in some respects that because they're a separate entity, I understand having to take that surplus in an emergency situation, but maybe not so much as a general rule in balancing our budget. It's just a
Yeah,
suggestion.
like I said, we could have definitely balanced the budget without that. It's just something that was coming. We'll review it year to year. If it's gonna hurt, we certainly will discuss it.
What would you have used separately than the $280,000?
Surplus.
So our own surplus?
Our own surplus. Maybe even going through some of our other line items and tighten them up a little bit, but not to be too aggressive, because you don't want to be stuck like these other towns.
So then we're not committed at this point to having to use
No,
that?
not at all.
that-
Could, like I said, we could have balanced this budget, could have a zero levy without that.
Okay.
One thing you have to remember, Sylvia, is the budget is a year-round process. The minute this budget is passed, you start working on the budget for 2016. So again, we start at zero, and all things are on the table, and everything is reviewed.
Thanks, Bill, appreciate it.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? No? Motion to close the hearing on B1.
I make the motion to close the hearing on B1.
Second.
Deputy Mayor Garofalo.
Yes.
Councilmembers Evans.
Yes.
Long.
Yes.
Shepherd.
Yes.
And Mayor Siciliano.
Yes, I have a resolution to adopt the 2015 municipal budget. Please.
And be resolved by the Mayor and Council of the Township of Ocean, County of Monmouth, that the budget herein before set forth is hereby adopted and shall constitute an appropriation for the purposes of sums therein and set forth as appropriation with authorization in the amount of $20,668,097.94. General revenue surplus anticipated $6,550,000. Miscellaneous revenue $6,459,529.38. Receipt from delinquent taxes, $1 million. Total revenues, $34,677,627.32. General appropriations within cap, $24,109,781. Deferred charges, $2,806,341. Total appropriations, $34,677,627.32. It's hereby certified that the within budget is a true copy of the budget adopted by resolution by the governing body on the second day of April, and is further certified that each item of revenue and appropriation is set forth in the same amount and by the same title as apparent in the 2015 approved budget and amendments.
Somebody please offer.
I offer.
Second.
Second.
Deputy Mayor Garofalo.
Yes.
Councilmembers Evans.
Yes.
Long.
Yes.
Shepherd.
Yes.
And Mayor Siciliano.
Yes, budget's approved. Thank you very much. Okay, tonight we have on the consent agenda minutes from the March 18th, 2015 workshop and public meeting. And resolutions, sorry, then 15071 through 15075. Somebody please offer.
I offer.
Second.
Second.
Deputy Mayor Garofalo.
Yes.
Councilmembers Evans.
Yes.
Long.
Yes.
Shepherd.
Yes.
And Mayor Siciliano.
Yes, there are no vouchers tonight, so for individual action resolutions 15076, approve the continuance on the assessment installment payment plan for various property owners who have become delinquent for their assessments confirmed on November 14th, 2013. Someone please offer.
I offer.
Second.
Second.
Deputy Mayor Garofalo.
Yes.
Councilmembers Evans.
Yes.
Long.
Yes.
Shepherd.
Yes.
And Mayor Siciliano.
Yes, 15077, authorize the purchase of 2 Dodge Charger police vehicles from Hetrick Fleet Service, Milford, Delaware. State contract A88729 at a total cost not to exceed $50,187.60. Someone please offer.
I offer.
Second.
Second.
Deputy Mayor Garofalo.
Yes.
Councilmembers Evans.
Yes.
Long.
Yes.
Shepherd.
Yes.
And Mayor Siciliano.
Yes, 15078, authorize a professional service contract for groundwater remediation with Groundwater and Environmental Services, Inc. at a cost not to exceed $48,877. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second.
Second.
Deputy Mayor Garofalo.
Yes.
Councilmembers Evans.
Yes.
Long.
Yes.
Shepherd.
Yes.
And Mayor Siciliano.
Yes, 15079, authorize the acceptance of the following grants. A, Safe and Secure Community Sub-Grant. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second.
Second.
Deputy Mayor Garofalo.
Yes.
Council members Evans.
Yes.
Long.
Yes.
Shepherd.
Yes.
And Mayor Siciliano.
Yes. 15080, authorize the tax collector to issue a refund to those taxpayers who have been declared a totally disabled veteran and have received a homestead rebate credit on their taxes. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second.
Second.
Deputy Mayor Garofalo.
Yes.
Council members Evans.
Yes.
Long.
Yes.
Shepherd.
Yes.
And Mayor Siciliano.
Yes. 15081, authorize the mayor and municipal clerk to execute the interlocal service agreement between the township and the Board of Ed for the rental of school buses for 2015 summer recreation program. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second.
Second.
Deputy Mayor Garofalo.
Yes.
Council members Evans.
Yes.
Long.
Yes.
Shepherd.
Yes.
And Mayor Siciliano.
Yes, no ordinance, however, ordinance 2241 is supposed to have its public hearing. That has been moved to May 7th meeting. We'll have its public hearing then. That's the refund and bond for the $9 million for the county. That's it. Anybody have anything? Come on up. State your name and address again if you don't mind. Even though we know you as 007.
I'll give you my real name,
That would be great.
Bond James.
Lisa, in case you were wondering, it's James Bond. They always ask me, who's that guy?
Marinella, 46 Redwood Drive, and Cedar Village has struck again. We just finished the drive for the food bank, collected 421 pounds of food, and donated $890 to the food bank.
That is excellent. Excellent.
Thank you, and thanks Cedar Village for that. You guys are really stepping up all the time, and I hear about all your fund drives and everything. It's just great, and we really do appreciate it.
We're part of the community.
You certainly
For
are.
sure. That's for sure.
Anybody else with good news? Come on up. Say your name and address for the record. Only good news. Brian.
It's gonna be good, Brian.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I got a question about this, I got a bunch of questions. Authorizing this for the 2 Dodge Chargers, police vehicles, for $50,000. Are these cars used or new? You can't buy 2 of these cars for $50,000.
We're in a state contract with that, Brian. We buy through that pool, which is part of our efficiency program here. We absolutely can do that. That's the beauty of buying power.
So you're buying 2, are these cars brand new or used?
Yes.
Brand new.
They're brand new.
Brand new, okay, well, that's great. No, that's great. I just want to give the mayor and council, especially Mrs. Shepherd, a report as being a member of the Clean Communities Advisory Committee. I want to let you know,
I saw.
I cleaned my spots, we trimmed the shrubbery, and we mulched everything, the islands and everything.
Awesome.
Thank you.
So at no cost to the township.
Thank you very much.
So how does it
Very
look? Did you
nice.
check it
Good
out?
job.
I saw the one on Bound and
Yeah,
Deal.
we did well. I finished the other one today by myself, so.
Okay, I didn't see that one, I'm sorry.
Okay, well, okay.
I'll look on my way home.
All right. Okay, now I got a question for Mr. Brennan, which I called him and he never got back to me
I called you twice, Mr.
usual.
Leverson.
But he didn't leave a message.
I did leave a message both times.
I don't know about that. He must have been, Okay, my question to you is, what was my question to you?
This is like the nut
Is that
job.
your question?
Yeah, what was my question? Yeah?
Your question was about the
Let's go,
stormwater
Neil
on Wells
Meyer.
Avenue.
Ooh, I told
Is
you.
that right?
What question?
Stormwater on Wells Avenue?
Yeah, I wanted about the curbing that was put in front of 402 and 410 Wells Avenue.
I believe Mr. Crochet spoke to you about that. Did he?
Yeah, but he, all I want to know is, did the homeowner pay for that
He
curbing
did
or
not
not?
pay for that curb. That was done, that road, as you know, was repaved 3 or 4 years ago. And when the crown was put on that road, it caused a stormwater issue for that resident, which did not exist previously. The resident didn't want curb, there never was curb there, they didn't ask for curb. But the only way to solve that problem was to put the inlet in and put the curb.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Was she complaining about, did she get water in her basement from that or
She
not?
did get water in her basement, yes.
I don't know, her house kind of sits in a valley, so, all I can say is they pay my road. Matter of fact, I want to make an appointment with you, so you come by my house. Mr. Cockle, who was our great man, probably one of the greatest managers in our town,
Excuse me, Mr. Hudson takes exception.
That was way before Mr. Hudson's time, so.
Well, they're all, you know what, they're all in the top three. Would you say?
Okay, Mr. Hudson's definitely up there, so. Mr. Cockle, my road was paved in 2006, and right before you took over, and I called them up, and I think I even sent them a basket, a fruit basket.
Don't send me a fruit basket.
I'm not sending you, the only thing I'm sending you is a bell. The only thing I'm gonna send you is a bell to put on your desk, so when I call you, it'll ring the next time you call me, when you call me. My question is, when they paved my road, I had a sidewalk that runs from my front porch to, my street, and it used to have a 4-inch lip on it, and now there's no lip on it anymore, so I'll make an appointment with you. You come by your Nova and you check out my drainage problem. All right, so, okay?
It's not that far.
But you also said to me that when they do Roosevelt Avenue, that I might be able to get curbing put in front of my house. Through Fernandez Construction
You want to
Company.
speak to Fernandez.
I can speak to him personally, right?
Fernandez personally, and you can arrange that on your
Yeah,
own.
I can pay in cash or whatever, yeah, so I get a good deal, so.
That's fine.
Whatever, okay, my other question is, I have another question which, one thing, I want to compliment you, Mr. Siciliano.
Thank you. Turn his mic.
I want to compliment everybody about, and Mr. Rue, I watched the last couple meetings on TV, because I came here a while back and criticized,
I remember.
right, Mr. Long, and
I
I'm
remember, and I said it was a work in progress.
You heard our
It's
feelings.
not Hollywood. We felt very bad about it. And
When are we
we
gonna
tried
make
to
it?
improve it.
And a matter of fact, you said to me that was the year that the Mets won the World Series, so, actually, I saw the last meeting, and I thought I saw a leprechaun running around here, so, but he's not here tonight,
We're
so.
seeing things.
So, all I want to tell you is, the production is Mr. Root, it is 100% better,
Thank
and,
you. You thank Tommy Root.
yeah, I already thanked him.
He
I
should
already
turn the
told him.
camera on himself.
I already told Mr. Root what a great job he's doing, so, that's what I'm
Yes,
getting
he's done a
at.
great job. The clarity's great. You hear, see
Yeah.
everybody. It's
No,
really,
it is remarkable, but the difference is,
Yeah.
the only thing is it's not live, so, but we're
Okay,
gonna
baby
do.
steps.
To me, we should be able to call in or email you, we should be able to get you on speaker, so.
I'm all for that, you know
You
that.
know what I mean, I could sit in my house and get you on speaker, in my office, that would be nice. Okay, my other question is, at the last meeting, which is something that really flabbergasted me, what the manager said, because I might be getting on his case. He said, when the Sunset Avenue Bridge is being redone, and he made a statement that eventually, because the township's undergoing a big road sidewalk project, and he said at the last meeting, I believe, that you'll be able to walk from the Sunset Avenue Bridge to the library. Let me ask you, would you walk from the Sunset Avenue Bridge to the library? Would you do that?
I would walk from my house to the library.
I know where you live, so, I mean, there's a bit of a difference there. You can't ride a bike on a sidewalk, because that's why it's called a sidewalk. Some towns have an ordinance, you can't ride a
I
sidewalk.
think you really took out of context what the man was saying. The point is, we have sidewalks now that join from that area all the way there, and if you cut through the park, you can also get to the school, you can get right to the pool complex.
Yeah, but the sidewalks are great, but sometimes, a lot of times in the summertime, you see people that are walking, and they don't walk on sidewalks. They walk in the middle of the street, they walk
We could
20
just
feet out in the
encourage them to
street
use
or
the
whatever.
sidewalks, right.
And if you blow the horn at them or say anything to them, I don't want to tell you what they give you, they give you a high sign, so.
Anything else?
Okay, I have a couple of questions about, Mr. Sisling, about your tennis court facility. You have an agreement with this company, this Park Avenue Tennis Court LLC, and I believe the principal his name is Jim Sabatis? Sabatis, okay, my question is, does he live in the town, does he live around here, does he live in New Jersey?
He lives in Spring Lake.
Lives in Spring Lake, okay, his corporation, who are other members of his corporation, you know?
Yeah, there's another guy named Steve Grunwald and Tommy, I forgot Tom's name, but the other partners, but I can get that for you.
Okay, one of my questions is, do you expect this, first of all, I can't understand, listen, I think listen, I was gonna wear my tennis shorts tonight, but, it was a little too cold out.
Yeah, the shoes.
We can do a couple of sets, so, like I said, no, I can't play tennis with these shoes on now. What I wanna say to you now is, you said that this building is that gonna cost the town any money?
No.
And then it's gonna cost between $2 million and $2.5 million.
Correct.
And then when it's completed, they're gonna deed it back to the town for $1.
Yes.
I mean, how long will it take before they deed it back to the town for
As
$1?
soon as it's open.
Oh, but in other words, they're gonna still run it and they're gonna collect the revenue.
Here's what's gonna happen, Brian, you understand this, they're big cash outlay for them, of course, and we have a land lease with them. So they're paying for the dirt that it's on, believe it or not, plus they're building the building with their money, their capital. So they're gonna operate it so they can, earn that revenue back, makes sense. We'll have some use of it at that time. My whole vision of this was, not even during my time here, was down the road, that would be the gift that keeps on giving. Eventually, they're gonna turn it over to us to operate ourselves 100%. We then can roll out turf fields in there. We can use it for lacrosse, soccer, field hockey, tennis, anything we want. When my kids were going through those programs, we paid dearly for them to go and play far away. And I see us collecting those revenues down the road, and I think it's gonna be just a real bonanza. It has to go through planning board approval. We have to have public input, of course. We wouldn't do anything without that. Of course, nothing without that. But that's the concept. That's how I'm saying it as a sports complex.
Okay, but in other words, what I understand it's a tennis facility.
It's opening as a tennis facility. I helped them design the layout so we could roll out fields in there. So that's why it's all open.
Okay, how about an ice skating rink?
Down the road, it's a multi-purpose facility.
Years ago, I would like to build an ice skating rink in the town.
We had ice skating at that
corporate,
facility, right? Remember?
Where?
Over there in front of the pool. We used to ice skate there. The firemen used to come and set up a little area there, open up the hoses, and we'd ice skate.
Well, I'm talking about for the hockey team that our school has. Yeah,
There's only so many projects we can work on.
Or at least something with a roof over it, you know what I mean? Like
I
I'm
got
saying,
you.
you know what I mean? Listen, I used to play ice hockey on Snell's Lake, so I mean,
Yeah, remember
going
that.
back. But my question to you is, that these people they're gonna lay their money out, but they're only paying $50,000 a year. That's $4,000 a month.
Listen to me, you're missing the whole idea. The 4,000 is not for the building. You understand?
That's for the land. That's for the land.
Dirt.
For the dirt.
You got it. That's, if you check with Krupnik, any big real estate firm that does land leases, not many do it. It's a very sophisticated, high-level thing. That's about the going rate, not counting any benefit to the town. So you can also consider that. We could have actually done a no lease there, just taking the building over.
Okay, my other question is, why didn't you push these people to take over the pool and enclose the pool and have a dome over it where it could open up
We
in
need
summertime?
I'll tell you.
So we can
need to control
utilize
that.
the pool year round.
Here's the thing, Brian, we need to maintain control of the pool, the golf course right now. So we can control those rates, and then we have that open to all our Ocean Township folks. So we weren't ready for that. Down the road, all those are possibilities, depends on where we can fit them in. But I don't see monetizing the pool or the golf course or anything like that.
Because in my opinion, the pool is a great thing, but I don't think the pool really brings that much revenue into this town.
Does pretty good. In fact, it offsets any loss we have at the golf course and then some. And my idea of this revenue stream from this sports/tennis facility was to really negate all of that, because you can't predict the weather. The golf course is a great asset because we saved it from the jaws of the developer who wanted to put 917, garden apartments there. So I think the benefit there certainly outweighs the minimal cost that we have associated with it, and that coupled with the fact that this revenue stream that I'm proposing will offset that as well.
Well, this is my opinion with the golf course. I know you wanted to keep control of the golf course, but you don't have any food over there. A couple of years ago, you put out the bid, you wanted to get a food truck over there,
We have it out again this year.
which is kind of like, what you should have done over there was you should should have built a nice patio area with a waterfalls, a nice barbecue, and you should have put that facility out to bid. Matter of fact, I would have been interested in that, but to have a food vending truck in there, I mean, that's kind of.
Here's the thing about that.
It's kind of a ham and egg operation.
No,
in my
I'll say
opinion.
this though,
Yeah.
understand what it really is.
Yeah.
Do you play golf? Right.
I very little, and if I play golf, I very little. I used to play golf in my younger days.
Not to insult you or anything, Marty and I play golf, and we understand one thing. When you go to a golf course, if you're 18 holes on the turn, you're gonna maybe stop and get a hot dog or something. You wanna eat. On a 9-hole, it's kinda, hey, let's go grab 9 holes, let's get out of here 2 hours and see if we get back to the office. So the food facility, we didn't really put a premium on it yet. Something down the road I would look into, sure. How much we would put into it is another story, considering that it's a 9-hole golf course.
Yeah, but I know Mr. Evans, that one massive fire company plays over there, right? They have a large, and they enjoy going over there, and, I mean, it's just, to me, you could bring a lot of money in there if you had, you know, all you gotta do is serve sandwiches, hamburgers, and hot dogs. Having this little area.
We do
And you-
sandwiches
you
like
could-
Tom's River does.
You could probably pull in $20,000, I bet you, or more,
Right.
over there.
No, that's something we're gonna consider. The other thing, I'll let you know, we've been discussing it up here myself, Mr. Garofalo, Ms. Shuffleta, and Mr. Evans, and Mr. Long, is that we're really looking into getting somebody else to operate instead of the contract that we have with the contractor. If we can work that out, that'll save us some money, so that's on the drawing board right now.
See, that was my next question, because right now
I
you're
answered it
paying,
for you.
well, right now you're paying $23,500 a month for a company to maintain the golf
Correct.
course, which in my opinion, the town could probably do it less. All you need is one guy over there.
No, you don't need one.
No, not one guy, but you need one guy who knows what he's doing.
Yes,
And
that's right.
And maybe 2 other people, 3 other people, and you gotta buy the equipment.
Well-
But this is what I would've done with a golf course. I would've taken a golf course and put it out to bid,
Mhm.
and the town would've got $150,000, then they wouldn't have to worry about it.
Here's what we did with the golf course. We took that golf course and we put it out to bid. And that's how we got the contract that way. However, that being said, I have a tour set up with a very prominent golf superintendent. And we're gonna take a tour, and he's gonna give me some recommendations to bring back to the council, and maybe even some ideas of cost associated with that, what it would be for, let's say, him to operate it, leasing equipment, he's very keen on that, saying there's programs out there where we can lease equipment, even buy some of the country club's equipment at super discounted rate. So it's something that we may be able to save, cut the corner there a little bit more, maybe knock that deficit off. So we're definitely looking at it, and if you want to call me, I've offered this to you before I go on that tour, you're welcome to come with me.
Yeah, because like I told the manager, I said, a lot of that equipment, you can lease that equipment with options or not.
Yeah, we're gonna look
I
at
mean,
that. He's
you're
gonna
only
propose
talking,
all that for us.
you're only talking about a 9, matter of fact, I wanted to put a bid in to take care of that golf course, but.
It's specialized equipment, Brian, I think.
But you have to have a Class A1 superintendent's
I have
golf course license.
I have a guy that was in the MGA book. He's in my MGA book that's on my coffee table. He's really good.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah,
we're looking at.
because to me, but.
Monmouth Golf Association. of New Jersey.
Okay, my last question to you is now, which I don't want to get on you, about this tennis court. What happens if these people build this tennis court facility, and 5 years from now, they're not making any money?
That'd be great.
And they just,
That's my dream.
listen, and they just close the door,
We have, it's our
And they-
building, we own it. We can either seek another operator, or we can operate it ourselves and start leasing out that.
What happens if it loses money?
It's their money. It's our building, their money. And again, we can choose the operator if we want, we can replace the operator if we want, you know, in the lease, we've constructed all that.
Who's gonna pay for the maintenance of the building? And if somebody just packs their bags and leaves?
Well, if they leave, just like the gym we have on West Park Avenue, same thing. I'm gonna say something, these are Butler buildings, they're designed with 50 to 100-year lifetime warranties on the materials. It's not like it's a shed out in the backyard that's gonna deteriorate. It's not like it's something that was built in 1910 that's gonna rust. 100 years from now, that building's still gonna probably look good. So it's very low maintenance. I mean, it's very low maintenance.
Yeah, but you have to realize with the gymnasium that's on West Park Avenue,
It's 12 years old.
maybe a lot of people don't know about that. That was part of the deal.
I'm saying, how's that look? for 12 years
Oh,
old?
well, let me finish what I'm gonna say now. That was part of the deal that Mayor Weldon made with the people who bought Seaview Square Mall. And they came in there and they got their way in Seaview Square Mall and they ended up putting that building up.
Brian, that's not what happened. They offered to build a facility for us, and it still cost us $1 million in engineering to prep the land and all that, so nobody got their way. But go ahead, I'm sorry.
Let me ask you a question. You told me it cost the town $1 million to put that building up, an engineering fee?
An engineer, not the building, engineering the land, all that we ran conduit under there for lights and electricity under the field, the sewer tie-ins that go across to the school, I mean, all that was a big feat.
Because I went to school with the girl who lived on that farm, yeah. But that I find extremely hard to believe.
I have the old-
Because there was a short period of time where the company that was building that place, they stopped building it because they had problems at the Seaview Mall, and I think that was part of the reason why they stopped
We hit a
building
small
it.
snag and then it worked itself out.
But another question is the field, that field that's there. How much is that field really utilized?
A lot.
A lot.
I wish we had 10 more of them.
There's no
We're
lights?
looking to add more fields, to tell you
They
the truth.
put lights, Brian,
Yeah.
they use temporary lights.
They use generators. There's conduit run there, Brian. Like I said, we ran conduit across the field in case they ever want to put up lights. It's prep for that, and for a scoreboard as well.
Okay, I only got one other question, I don't want to get up and interrupt myself. Let me ask you a question, will there be a plaque with your name on it?
There's gonna be a banner.
In that building, in that building.
Siciliano Sports Complex.
Will there be a plaque in that building with your name on it?
There's always plaques when we dedicate the buildings to honor the current council, I guess, right? Wherever we open up. So,
I just know I'm never on it.
so, if there's a plaque, great, so be it. That's not why we're doing it. Again, we service the community. It's what we do.
Okay, but again, I want to say you're doing a great job. But
Thank you.
like I said, I have concerns about that because if those people just pull out of there and.
We're prepared for
you're
that.
gonna be stuck, yeah.
Yeah, we
We have a great $2 million building or three, whatever.
And another thing is, I called up our superintendent of schools, and he didn't know about it, and I asked him if the school tennis team wants to play in here, are they gonna be charged?
No, here's what's gonna happen, and I spoke to Rusty Todd about this. The school plays outside. We're gonna have the outside courts. The facility's available to them for indoor rain dates. It's available for our rec kids on the same thing. And of course, we can schedule short conference there at no charge. We can kind of showcase the building there a little bit. So absolutely, they'll have some use of it that way.
Okay, thank you very much. I hate that was at all.
Thank you. You Boy Scouts are getting 2 badges for tonight's meeting. I just want to tell you that right now. I'm telling your Scoutmaster to put you down for 2.
Barbara Hudson.
Yes.
Could I make a suggestion? Time limits, like 15 minutes?
For the meetings here?
No, for the.
No, that's what you mean. No, I got you. The meetings used to be 5 minutes.
15 minutes,
That's what
but
I meant.
I'm very democratic.
I get it.
Anybody can come back. Everybody
Yeah.
talks, give them 15
Well, we
minutes,
try
and
to-
then you can come back.
We try to work on the courtcy, I'm hoping everybody's following some kind
Well,
of
I
Mrs. Hudson?
But
rule here,
minutes.
but.
Mrs. Hudson, your time is up.
What is it, 15 minutes?
Yeah, we don't want to get to the point where we're putting a clock up and all that, but I understand where you're coming. We want to give everybody a chance to speak.
And
so.
then, they can all come back.
Sure.
You're not gonna
Well,
stop
that means the 15 minutes means nothing if they come back, but go ahead.
Well, we're paying it something to us, and then people can leave if they want to.
Well, the other thing too, Mrs. Hudson, and I've mentioned this to you in the past, and I offer it to Brian as well. I don't know of a mayor that's more accessible than this mayor, okay? I had an opportunity to sit in on his coffee with the mayor on Mondays and Fridays. Tomorrow's a holiday, so I'll come tomorrow.
Yeah,
The mayor won't be there. But any of the ideas that you have, questions, proposals, anything, you can always come to coffee with the mayor. You're not obligated to come here. That's one of the reasons that the mayor did that.
No, right, that program's up and running, and it's busy. I suggest you call ahead because there's folks waiting when I get
Taking
there.
my 15 minutes.
Reset the clock.
All right. I just want to ask about the groundwater. Is there some
The grant?
contamination around?
We had to remove underground storage tanks, I'm gonna say at least 15 years ago, over at the DPW facility on Beecroft. So this is a continuation of remediation of that work.
Did not leach out outside our area incidentally.
Now, we're going to have some debates coming up. Right?
They're called candidate forums, they're kind of controlled.
Will they be televised if people want them? Will they be
No
televised?
control over that.
Who has control of them?
Whoever's
Oh, the
sponsoring.
people who they can request for television, where they can request, no, okay. All right, now this is about the tennis courts. We hope the deal is great as the council implies, but recently had opportunity to read the contract that has been signed. Now, reading it, I'm a common resident, and like myself, is really not prepared to judge if the conditions are good or bad. In contrast, residents who might have special kinds of expertise, having an opportunity to look at them, could make more intelligent judgments. And as you know, we have long asked the council before making major decisions, making information available to residents for such purposes. However, here's some of the impressions this unemployed person got. Giving away access to township property to make the business deal, in this case property off West Park Avenue in front of the community pool, is a form of privatization. In hard times that might get harder, and this might seem advantageous, but decisions made hastily or without thoughtful and deep consideration can lead to disadvantage. We need to think about all the angles about any deal, and it seems to us this might not have been done. Certainly it would seem that owners concerned about their bottom line see the deal as good for them, as well as residents who might want to play tennis indoors. But other questions about whether residents generally want this facility, who knows? Think the money received.
That's why we're having a planning board here, and that's why I'm discussing it so much. Excuse me 1 second, I have to say this. The only reason it's getting so much attention now, that's another form that we're trying to put out to you as far as transparency. We want it to have as much attention as it possibly can, so everyone has a chance to come in and have input on this. It's a concept. Excuse me.
Wait, hold it. Before we sign the contract, I hate to interrupt you.
Yeah.
Before we sign the contract,
RFP.
there was a thing for a bid that was at a public meeting, discussing a bid on the contract. And then after the bid, there was a public meeting where we talked about acceptance of the bid. So, I mean, all of these things were public. And anybody from the public who wanted to review that, could review that.
I don't think anybody knows it.
Mrs. Hudson, I think you asked questions, I know you asked
Yeah,
questions.
we-
You asked questions about it.
That too was in the newsletter.
But who out there in the hinterland really knows we're gonna have this?
Well, we actually are gonna send out Paul Revere.
Right.
And he's gonna say the tennis people are coming, the tennis people are coming.
But listen, it hasn't even been scheduled for planning board, and when it does, everyone will know about it.
All right. But other questions about whether residents generally want this facility.
Right, that's up to them.
All right, take the money, I mean, maybe it's, this could be a wonderful deal.
Could be.
Maybe if I get to understand everything, I'll say, yeah, terrific, but I don't know.
Here's the
All right, and
thing,
there's-
they'll all have a say, they'll have input, that's why we have a planning board meeting, that's why I'm mentioning it now. Mrs. Hudson, do you remember when the pool club was built?
Probably.
I remember, I
have
was
to
younger
think
then,
back.
and
I was here.
that was very contentious, and folks thought that was a bad idea. That
Well,
was a
I
really
do
bad
mention
idea.
that because I think also,
Right.
is the money adequately for giving up this land? I don't know. What other possibilities may exist for that land? And how do pool members, many of whom have been faithful
Mhm.
since the 70s, feel about maybe inconveniences? I mean, this land is going to be taken up in front of them, all the parking spaces and so on.
No,
No, it's
that-
not.
Well, anyway, if it's not.
No, it's very-
But how might they feel about it, all
Yeah,
right?
that's,
And then also you have electronic signage.
mhm,
I mean, so you're taking a community, here we're all living in this lovely community, our home.
very bucolic.
Right, and you're putting a commercial thing out there with electronic signs.
Well, there's an electronic sign across the street at that commercial building, the school, and then there's gonna be one there at the pool, I think it's good for
This is
information.
a commercial
But
business.
there's gonna be other information on there, our information will be on there as well.
Okay.
Again, everybody will have a say at the planning board, really.
All these matters should be considered.
They will be.
Yeah, we haven't
At the
done
planning
yet
board.
when it's signed.
Not at that.
No.
Nothing's a done
There's a
deal.
lease agreement, there's a lease agreement.
Right.
The lease agreement is subject to their obtaining planning board approval. Things could be changed at the planning board, things could happen at the planning board, which I can't anticipate what that might be. But, that's why it's there. And yet, before we signed it, there were public hearings where people could have spoken. Now, the fact that they didn't come, there's nothing we can do
Well,
about that.
I understand.
Well, just one quick comment, you used the word hastily. If this passes planning board, I guarantee you, from the time that this was conceived to the time a shovel goes into the ground, it's been 3.5 years.
Yes.
Well, Fenton has
So-
some questions about that.
I met this guy he was a customer of mine in a real estate deal. I mean, I lost $100,000 putting this deal together, I want you to know that. But I thought it was a good deal for the town, but everyone will have a say, not just me.
Okay.
Listen,
I
maybe it
hope
gets
that
turned down and I
you
can
say
show
yes.
them another piece
Yeah,
of property.
great. Yeah. But I myself will not put a commercial, I mean, personally, I don't like the idea of having commercial in front of the community.
It's recreational.
That's my opinion.
Okay, thank you.
My 15 minutes.
You did fine.
15 minutes are up.
Anybody else?
Andy Warhol.
Come on up if you have anything. Yes, Mr. Hudson, please.
But before he gets up, is there anybody else, because we've had some problems lately? You still want Mr. Hudson to be,
That is not law. That's a joke, but don't, you don't have to.
I think that, Sylvia, one second. That exchange, honestly, it sounded as though you were being a little snarky, Mrs. Hudson.
Oh, thank you.
And what she was trying to say, from my perspective, was that obviously you had, your public hearings, but the Hudsons are here at every single meeting. And if they weren't aware of it, the chances that the rest of the town are aware of it enough to come here and comment on it are pretty slim.
Mrs. Sylvia Jaffe, just to let you know what I said previously, they were not only here, they asked questions about it.
We didn't see the contract.
And my understanding
Did you want to
is-
see it?
Come on in.
Did you see it?
Yes.
I was able to get a copy
That's
of
why
the
I'm
lease,
calling.
and I passed it over to the Hudsons.
Great. You're a good Samaritan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
And listen, if I offended you, Mrs. Hudson, if I was snarky, please, was not my intention. I just, wanted you to understand how the process works. We
Well,
put
I
the
don't
RFP
understand.
out, we have meetings
I
about it,
admit
and
that,
I
don't
understand
understand it, all right?
everybody's not gonna
And
hear
I
about
think
it.
that most people are like me, they're not gonna understand
That's
it.
right.
You can read it wherever,
You'll still have
unless
the-
you're in the real estate business or
Right.
the insurance business or whatever, you're not gonna see all the in and outs.
Correct.
All right?
That's why,
what-
again, that's why we have this process, we have the planning board, and everybody can have their say. Great. Anybody else?
Mr. Hudson?
Mr. Hudson.
Wherever you go.
You ready?
Thank you, Finn Hudson, Morris Drive. I would like to get sometime this evening an update on the COA and Stop and Shop suit matters, assuming that the judge the meeting before the judge that was supposed to take place last month was not again deferred. So I just hold that open. Regarding the work meeting agenda tonight, and the reference to an incentive plan for the fire company members, I'd just like to know how that came up. Was that initiated by the fire companies or what? Certainly the fire companies do good work for the township and deserve recognition and reward for that. But I just want to know for informational purposes.
We all thought it would be a great idea to do that for them.
Well, you thought of
It's
it.
expanded.
Right.
It's been in effect since at least early 1990s.
1994.
94 is on the date on there.
So others before us thought it'd be a good idea to do that for them.
Yeah, there's just a couple of items on the ordinance that we feel need to be expanded to actually give the fire companies and emergency services people a little bit more. There's certain things that are listed, but obviously when the ordinance was passed in 1994, we didn't own the golf course. So we want to add a few things to it to expand the
Okay, so
services.
essentially you're just adding to what you already
Yes.
have.
Yes.
Okay. Regarding Mr. Lefferson's contract for the comments on the golf course, I just observed that the golf course would be a nice place to go over and have lunch sometime. so that if, and I don't play golf, but it would be nice to go there in the open air and have lunch there in sort of picnic style, if there was some way of doing that. I do have some specific questions on the tennis court facility, and particularly on the lease. I recognize that this may be a very good deal for the township, but I'm still open as to my opinion as to whether it's good or not. So while I applaud the open government policy adopted on January 1st, and perhaps a little earlier, we were left with few gaps and a clear understanding of matters of general interest, including that of the planned indoor tennis court recreational facility on the pool property at West Park Avenue. I have several questions regarding the lease as signed and dated March 10th. My questions are below. First, exactly what is the size of the building and of the lease? The lease appears to be for 63,000 square feet.
That's land.
That's the land.
That's the land.
What's the size of the building?
Under 55, between 53. I don't have the exact measurements here.
Okay, so the additional space has to do with the space 36 places committed for parking. Is that right? More or less?
Right.
Okay. All right. Are those parking places fixed? That is, are they located now, or that's general parking?
Now, we have the spaces that are there now. Again, this is a low-intensity use tennis facility. In the summertime, it's not going to really mix with the pool complex because most people don't play indoor tennis in the summer.
Okay.
There are, and there's another area now where that's not paved that can be used as parking if we feel we run out. There's plenty of room over there.
Okay. Second question is regarding signs, and I may be reading the lease too literally, but are there two signs, one of which is electronic and the other isn't? Or are they three signs, one or two of which may be electronic? There's something about, there's an offsetting phrase there which
Yeah,
causes
it's two signs, one of which is electronic.
Okay. Exactly what terms apply to the apparent option to extend the lease for another 10 years? That is, does the new option revert to the original fee of $50,000 per year at the end, at the 10-year, when the first year lease expires and the second year, 10-year lease undertakes? Or does the second 10-year lease begin at the $60,000 that the original 10-year lease ends up with?
It's my recollection that we have a lease, it has a little escalation clause in it.
2%.
2%.
Says 2% annually.
And then after the 10 years, that'll be the new rent after 10 years, and then the escalation will continue.
Continue
from
on
that
top
point.
of that.
So it won't go back to 50, it'll be whatever the 2% is added on at 10 years.
Okay. Regarding alterations and improvements, what does the township have to say about any changes that the lessee may wish to make on the facility that the township might object to?
Everything.
Yeah, I believe you mean after they construct it, if they want to make improvements, I think the alterations and improvements would be subject potentially to planning board approval again.
Well, does it at least say that?
I believe it does say that, I just don't remember where, but yes.
Okay. Regarding the
It says these improvements subject to the lessor's consent, not unreasonably withheld, and approval further subject to the provisions of paragraph 2.1, which is the planning board approval.
Okay, fine. Regarding insurance coverage,
Yes.
has the township and the township's joint risk insurance carrier reviewed the lease and the insurance coverage?
Yes,
You have.
as has the carrier, and that was
a big part of it there.
we had a lot of issues related to that.
Okay. Regarding public notifications, what notification has the township made so far to the members of the Ocean Pool and Tennis Club and to the pool's nearby neighbors, nearby property owners?
Other than what's been in the newspapers, no notices have been going out yet. I think we've done our due diligence so far, even
They'll
without
be
it.
notified as part of the.
They'll be
planning board
notified
approvals.
as part of a planning board application, but we intend not to just notify the neighbors that within 200 feet. We want to notify everyone that's concerned about it and let them have a chance to have some input. Like I say, this is a concept for them. If people don't like it, we don't build it. And that was known by the builder, knew that going in. Hey, it's all subject to planning board approval, but has to get public consent. That's how all of our applications
Well,
are. Just like that done deal on 35 and Deal Road, the Stop and Shop. It's not so much a done deal, it's still green.
Yeah, well, okay.
You can sign a contract.
Regarding Green Acres approvals, the recent write-up in the Coaster referred to having 2 10-year leases as opposed to one 20-year lease as being a requirement of the Green Acres, implying that Green Acres approval that the township now has Green Acres approval for this plan.
First thing we did. That was the first order of business.
Okay. Was the proposed facility and lease as drawn approved by the State House Commission as required by Green Acres or in some form by the Green Acres office?
That property is, although it's Green Acres, it's unfunded, so that requirement doesn't carry with that property.
Yeah, but you're obligated under Green
We spoke
Acres
to Green
regulations.
Acres. Yeah, we spoke to Green Acres. We made them aware of the situation. They advised us, although it's not required, they advised us to not do one 20-year agreement, but to split that up, which we did. And because it's unfunded, that was the extent of their involvement with the process.
Okay, but in my recollection of Green Acres requirements is that whatever is held as open space in the township at the time that Green Acres funds are passed out.
But that's what I'm saying.
It's unfunded.
It's designated as open space, but there wasn't Green Acres funds used to acquire that property.
We made no application to Green Acres. We're not using Green Acre funds.
Well, I understand that, but does the state not require it?
It's not considered a diversion, which I think maybe you're referring to.
While diverting other properties?
Well, we're not, again, sometimes if you're using a Green Acres, a funded Green Acres parcel for some purpose other than open space, then they consider that a diversion, you would have to replace it elsewhere. In this case, that property was not funded, unfunded is how they refer to it. So that requirement did not carry with the property.
Okay. On the request for proposals, the Coaster article and prior comments from the public meetings indicate that this project came up informally between a council member and the principal of the lessee some 3 years ago. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Then how long ago did council regarding a public-private partnership, how long ago did council regard a public-private partnership as being reasonable and seek out other providers besides the people that
Let's put up
are?
for a bid.
We did
It was
an
put out-
RFP.
not for bid, we did a
RFP.
request for proposals.
Okay, and the request for proposals went out sometime last year, right?
Went out in 2014, yes.
Okay. And how many people did you have?
3.
We had 3 people that picked up the proposal packets, we had 1 return.
Okay, so you had 3 people pick it up, nobody else replied.
Other vendors did call and they had questions about what was a bubble going to be acceptable, was this going to be acceptable? So there was other interest in it, but when it came time when the deadline came, we had one entity submit a proposal.
Okay, and then you decided that that was a good deal at that time.
Well, it was all subject to resolving the lease terms, which, yes.
Okay.
And
And,
subject to planning board approval.
Well, Okay, but there's one thing about going to, making the deal contingent on the planning board, and that is you apparently have signed the lease already. And that puts the residents and the planning board under some disadvantage because they know that there's a possibility that the township may want this, and they may not want to discourage it and may be restricted in their objection to it from that reason.
Yeah, I mean, it's written right in there, they know it from the onset that it's subject to that, and I think I have a lot of faith in our members that are up there, the
Yeah.
ones with experience, and, you know, they don't truckle over something like that. If they think it's not a good deal and they're taking a cue from the audience, they're gonna react to that accordingly, and plus, you know, if
Okay,
they
so
think the
then,
benefit outweighs the detriment, then they'll act on it that way. It's really up to them.
and then you'll be satisfied with that.
Whatever, however the outcome is, I'll be satisfied.
Okay, fair enough, thank you.
Thank you. Wait, under the Barbara Hudson rule.
Right.
We haven't adopted the Barbara Hudson rule. We may have a one-time and only, Brian. Please. I'm going to now declare the scouts are on the third badge. Three for you guys.
Another trailer coming.
We all get one.
What you just said down, what Mr. Hudson brought up was a very good, inventive idea. You people, as this being a township-owned piece of property, let's just listen carefully to what I'm going to ask you. You're asking for the planning board to approve this. You have a contract that's in place already. You people appoint the planning board members. I think it's a conflict of interest, total conflict of interest.
That's the process, and it happens on.
Would you give me an answer? Would you stop and shop? It was a different deal, Mr.
I
Sisman. That's
understand that.
privately owned.
My point about the Stop and Shop
Yeah.
was folks come up with, in an accusatory way, done deal, and I just resent that statement so much.
I never said that, but what I'm saying
I
to you
heard
is-
it tonight.
It's a piece of property that the township owns.
Yeah.
The planning, it's going to be, you have a contract in place, right, Mr. Brennan, that was signed in March with these people. These people are going to be bent out of shape if it doesn't go through. Even though, I don't think they've
They're
shipped it.
investors
Yeah.
and they're big boys, I'm sure,
Yeah,
they're
so
not
they're
100% on their investment.
So they're just going to, well, what I'm saying to you is,
Yes.
to me, you appoint these people on the zoning and planning boards as a public piece of property. And this has risen in other towns where I've been involved with things and I've seen it come up. And they have to pick, they pick a special board or they have to go away. To me, the planning board even should be even involved with this because you appoint the planning board. You don't have control over those people, but you appoint those people. So that, could you give me an answer on that?
Well, listen, the governing body is the appointing authority. The governing body is the appointing authority. We would be remiss if we weren't the appointing authority for the boards that you've just detailed. So this is a proposal. It's going to follow the normal course of events. It's going to go to the planning board. We believe, as a mayor and council, this is a tremendous benefit to the citizens of Ocean Township. Mr. Arbus worked diligently to come up with an agreement with this particular private entity to make sure that the best interests of the citizens of Ocean Township were uppermost in everybody's mind. This is a tremendous advantage to the township. If we didn't think it was that, we wouldn't have given the go-ahead for it. It's going to follow the normal course of events, but you can't challenge the fact that we're the appointing authority. We are the appointing authority.
But what I'm saying is, it's a township piece of owned property.
But you know what? There are other township-owned pieces of property, and there are occasions where I've appeared before the planning board on an application from the township. So those things happen. That's part of the rules. It still goes before the planning board. If we appointed another board, we'd still be appointing them. So, I mean, that's who the application goes before. They're an independent body. They are appointed by the council members. But the bottom line is, they make that decision. And, you know, in terms of whether or not, planning-wise, this makes sense, they'll make that decision. Just like they will on other applications that we will have in the future, and ones we've had in the past, where it was township-owned property, and we were making our application to build something on that property. I get 20.
Susan Gloria, Cedar Village. I just want to say that I disagree that I don't believe it's a conflict of interest. I myself, if I was asked to serve on a board for the township or even in my community, which I am doing, and I understand what the requirements are of me, I'm going to do my best to fulfill those requirements, and if that's in conflict with the board who appoints me, well, that's a shame, but I'm doing what I have committed myself to do, and that's to do the best job of what I'm being asked to do. So I believe that there is no conflict of
Thank you, and
interest.
that's the confidence that we have in our members. Thank you for that, Ms. Porter. Anybody else?
Does Mr. Harvest have anything to say on the COA matters?
Right now, aside from the Stop and Shop, that is on for, actually looked at the date, but I'm getting to the age where I just looked it up and I still forgot it now. But it's mid-April. The court actually called us and adjourned the date. They had a conflict. So it's a case management conference. It's on for mid-April. In terms of COA itself, right now our time is being expended studying with our COA counsel the Supreme Court decision, how that impacts Ocean Township, and what the next steps should be, but that we'll have to discuss with our COA counsel.
We can expect a report.
I don't know right now, but, you know, we have apparently a 120-day time period where things will be status quo, and probably sometime within that 120 days, some kind of decisions will be made as to how we proceed from here.
Great, thank you. Anybody else? Seeing here no one, so we'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Not so fast. Second?
Deputy Mayor Garofalo.
Yes.
Councilmembers Evans.
Yes.
Long.
Yes.
Shepherd.
Yes.
And Mayor Sustana.
Yes, the meeting's adjourned. Before you go, just remember, we air these meetings, they're shown twice a day, at 10 o'clock and at 7 o'clock on Channel 77 and 22 if you have files. Thank you and have a good
Except
holiday.
for Tuesday.
Except for Tuesdays. And, coffee with the mayor session is suspended until Monday. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for coming. Meeting adjourned.